Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction bingo for One Piece chapter 1145. The title for this one is like The Fire at Branch 8 Part 2 or so, like not Part 2, but something like that, The Fire on Branch 2 or something like that. So honestly, this feels like I could totally be wrong. Sometimes the titles don't really necessarily tell you how insane a chapter is going to be, but with a title like that, I feel like, okay, we're just continuing what we've been seeing. It's one of those chapters that we have in every One Piece arc where it's like, okay, we just need to continue the storyline of the arc. So I think it's still going to be good because this arc has been killing it every single bit of the way, but I would not be surprised if we didn't have any huge reveals or anything this week. And honestly, clicking onto this, I saw a two-page spread, a color spread, and I was like, this does not look like Oda's artwork. This does not look how things usually look, but I think it's because the anime is going to be returning to Egghead, and with the return of the anime continuing where the manga is, that's probably why it looks different. It's more the anime style, but before we even get into that, I'm gonna see what I got on my bingo card. And before I do that, I just want to say if you want to play along with bingo, there's always a link to the card generator down in the comments and description. I always try to update the card generator every week. I mean, I didn't really make any big changes to it this week because I don't really think there are any possibilities that are going to be massive changes to the spaces that we saw from last time. So they're kind of the same as last time, but if you want to generate your own card, it's down below. Plenty of options that it can give you. Then also I want to say I post these videos as soon as I get to record the scans. So if you want to see these as soon as I record the scans, you can hit join down below to become a member, or go to patreon.com/HakuOfTheTubes, or a link will be in the description to become a patron, and then I just make these public when the official translation comes out publicly. Just wanted to say that. And honestly, there was something else that I kind of thought about while I was talking about that, but now I'm forgetting it. Well, oh well, let's see what's on my bingo card. Maybe I will remember it later. Oh yeah, the scans. I'm recording this at 3 p.m. on Friday. The scans came out at like 2 in the morning, so I had to wait and do them this afternoon. I was going to do them last night, but they just came out too late. They didn't come out till like 2 a.m. So my bingo card this time, I got Giant Child, easy one, okay. Cross Kill, immediately not. Food, maybe. Heart Pirates, I doubt it. Wano Piece, we got the color spreads, probably not. Seraphim, it feels like we never. Kid Pirates, Bad Space again. Thousand Sunny, I doubt it, but maybe. MMAs, the Mumas, maybe, could be, probably, almost certainly. God's Knights, yeah. Nika mentioned, maybe. Bounty Reveal, Free Space, which we can click. Oh man, that last spot kind of ruined it. Named Attack, Blood, Sweat, or Tears, those might be easy. Silhouetted Character, Yonko, new named character. Any Straw Hat Member, Zoan Transformation, Vivi Wobbler Morgans, Joy Boy mentioned, Marine, Flashback, or Carrot and or Zunisha. I was thinking that this diagonal one sounded easy. Giant Child, Muma, Any Straw Hat Member. Then Carrot and or Zunisha came in, and of course, that is maybe Oda's biggest dropped ball. So yeah, it's probably not happening. Almost certainly not happening. Then either way, I guess we should continue on and actually read the chapter. I've got the color spread up. It looks really good. I think it looks nice in the anime art style here. Right, just taking it in a bit. Looks gorgeous. Then moving on from there, we have chapter 1000. Oh, and actually, this is just thrown up. Was this an actual thing in Jump, or is this just something that the scans threw in here? I think it's probably legit, but I don't know, because we actually have the cover story continuing, chapter 1145, The Blazing Branch 8's Force Number 2. Okay, that's what the title was. We have Pepe taken out, holding him. Then Onichild Yamato in the Holy Inari Shrine Pilgrimage Volume 30. Pepe's still alive! We start this off with a big creature up against the giants. There's fighting in the realm of the dead, too. Here it comes, Nash. What? Wait! And we have a living shield? Gah! Now. Armée de l'air. And we've got, Power Shoot. Sanji fighting alongside... That's Goldberg, right? So Goldberg has a living shield, I guess? How does this work? Because, like, you would think the shield eating a devil fruit, unless it's a human fruit, wouldn't cause it to do that. Unless it's a part of, Goldberg's power? Or it's a homie. It feels like a homie, you know? And then we have Zoro coming in as well, and he just lops its head off. This thing looks edible. It's big even by giant standards. Groggysaurus is super tasty. They've got a thick layer of fat under the skin, so prep takes a while, but simmer it in booze and it's fantastic. We didn't bring any alcohol, though. The hunter's cabin's stocked with all the cooking tools we'll need. Let's grab some herbs on the way back. Never mind that, but what is that thing? Is a devil fruit responsible? It came to life after my old man clashed with Big Mom. Okay, so his father fought with Big Mom, and it got made into a homie, so it is a homie then. So it's just like Zeus, huh? What? You know Zeus? He's a high-ranking homie. Sorry, calling them homies makes wording like that so funny. Yeah, he's our navigator's lackey now. What? So we're bringing in more Big Mom-related stuff. God's Knights. That's right, they came here. Government officials, you're saying they did this to you? You got it. All your rampaging overseas must have made you some enemies. Don't be stupid. I'd already be king of the world if I'd gone far enough to cross paths with guys like that. World government. Knights. Hey, we got one. It's huge. Groggysauruses are super nutritious. I took it down, Zoro. It was incredible. You look like a head of broccoli sailing gloriously through the air. Did you collect the firewood? We had the two of them arguing down at the bottom. Yeah, it's right here. Good. Work out there. And good work out there. Alright, it's ready. Good. That first serving wasn't meant for you. Oh, right. Eat up, Loki. He just, basically smacks him in the face with the freshly cooked food. It's too hot. Take it easy, Luffy-kun. You'll reopen his wounds. Basically just meat hammers him. Okay, before I continue on to the next scene, since we might be getting into some cool stuff, yeah, maybe I was wrong. Maybe this, despite the name of the chapter, is where we're finally getting some more info from Loki. But so far we have had food. That's one of the reasons I wanted to take a look at this. We had Wano Piece. Then, I don't remember. Did we have the Thousand Sunny in that color spread or something? I don't remember. None of the Mumas yet. The God's Knights have been mentioned, but we'll see if we see them. We had a named attack from Sanji. Blood, Sweat, or Tears, I'm assuming we had, but I'll have to go back and check, I think. Any Straw member we totally got. New named character, we got the shield. That is a new named character. Yonko, because Luffy is here. Do we have a silhouetted character? Maybe. I'll have to, again, double check again. I don't think we had a flashback either. Man, I just really didn't get a super great setup for this. Like, I have some good spots, and I feel like some of the spaces that I didn't even get on my board, like we've seen already. So, that is what it is. I'm just looking back to double check if we had any sort of flashbacks or silhouetted characters, but I don't think we really did. Like, not really. Okay. We do have Hyridine there, so Strat Grand Fleet Representative? Is that a thing? Did I not get that? I didn't get Strat Grand Fleet Representative. Man, that's another one I could have had. Okay. Blood, Sweat, or Tears, again, I'm assuming there's some of that somewhere. But now, like, it seems like they didn't have sweat scaling here. Seems like they, we see Sanji, Zoro working together. Like, it's the same thing Sanji's done multiple times with some of the other characters where he launches them with the power shoot, like kicking them off with his leg. But it seems so different him using that with Zoro here. You know, to see the two of them work together like that is not as common. Also, the fact that it's basically a Brachiosaurus, which Sanji just had to deal with in Wano. I suppose we do have tears in the Wano cover story. Sorry, I was just taking in that scene we had previously. So let me really quick before I continue. Sorry for the wait. Again, doesn't look like I'm in luck this week. Also, something I thought about after last week's chapter, I was like, so if we don't see the kid pirates here, do we just assume that Shanks killed them? Because they were off the coast of Elbaf, so why would we see them anywhere else? Like, if we don't see them in the Elbaf arc, why would we see them anywhere else, you know? Moron, are you trying to kill me? Says Loki. Wow, you're better already. Chow down, you won't heal if you don't eat. Starts eating. It's hard to swallow. I mean, how am I meant to eat lying down? You sure are pushy. Oh no, he's joking. Pass me the soup. And he starts sitting up. Hot, 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 hot. Luffy's just carrying it full speed. It's clearly boiling. Stay away from me. And we have screaming as it splashes. Now he's got even more burns. Get him the hell away from me. Luffy-kun? My bad. I didn't mean to. You too, Gerd-chan? She winks. What did he do to piss off the giants this much? I bet his promise to Luffy was just a trick. Red Hair's whereabouts, huh? I'm afraid I wasn't lying about that. Is that so? You gonna spit it out then? The deal was that you'd free me from these chains first. You really want to see Red Hair that bad, huh? Well, I guess I can understand. That's what happens when you look up to a pirate in your youth. And we have this are really just steaming Pyridine face. You know the feeling? Yeah, I do. You regret that you were just a kid. Take me with you. So, was he that way with Rox? That would be so weird and different. Because Rox was... I kind of feel like the Pirate King lineage was kind of Rox to Roger to now going to Luffy, basically. I didn't come all this way to take in a brat like you. Don't make me repeat myself. Then I challenge you. What? You seriously pulled a blade on a kid? We see the instant loss. Shut it, Newgate. Okay, and that's young Whitebeard talking to him. So this is cool. We're getting some more Rox info. Again, not what I was expecting whatsoever. I was born in the wrong era. And now we have one of the ships, I think that's the Adic, getting accosted by all the Draugr and stuff. What, is that Loki? And we have the Nightmare Loki coming at them too. Leave him to me. Yasan. And then he tears through it. Good thing these things are just how the kids imagine them. So they'd be tougher to beat if they were familiar with the real versions, huh? That's the last thing we need. Just as I thought, there's more now. 3 of them. That's actually cool to note, is that like what kids think are scary and powerful, because they have such a limited frame of reference, is actually kind of weaker than you would expect. Voices that strange can't be suppressed. I can hear them. If Elbaf is no longer safe, the world really is ending. Now we see the firefighting unit. Use the water from the sea clouds. Is that gonna work? The flames are massive. Thank goodness you firefighters are here, but you need to hurry. And we have the Fenrir taken out by Saul. The kids are heading straight for the flames. Or using the highest water pressure the valve can handle. You gotta put it out. Y'all can do it. Put it out, and they're just marching into the flames. I'm begging ya. Look, Gunko, the kids are about to be burnt alive. Would that be enough to wake them up? Yes, they'll wake up from the heat, screaming for their parents in terror. Then the flames will burn them down to the bone. Man, ain't that just touching? And we're seeing the we're using this to show us how evil the God Knights are, that they're just like, yeah, we'll just march some kids into fire. Sea Cloud? Is something wrong, firefighters? Okay, is Jinbei going to come to the rescue? Hey, letting Straw Hats do something, very nice to see. It feels like it's rare that they do things a lot of the time. It's not out yet. We're doing all we can. It ain't working. Kids, no. And they step into the flames, but as soon as they do, current shoulder throw. That should do it. Did I make it in time? Over here, hop on. Right? That's our Jinbei. You gave me the chills. And we have Nami Brook and Usopp. The water then lands on the fire. Wow. The blaze in Branch 8's Force number 2 has been extinguished. We have Chopper and Robin. That's a really cute Chopper and Robin panel. I love that. That's such a good panel of them. The children are all right. The kids just missed the flame, but they're still marching. A close call. I always had faith. Good job, firefighters. We have Doribrogi and is that... I always get confused on which one's Oimo, which one's Kashi. I think that one's Oimo. And then, here's to the Guardians of Elbaf. No, it wasn't us. Glad the Tykes are okay, though. Yeah. Robin, just now, wasn't that... Jinbei, must be nearby. And then, before we cut to the next one, I think there's maybe only one spot for me. Oh, well, there's two, actually. We have the giant children. Oh, we did have the Muma as well. Too bad, no Carrot and or Zunisha. We got Zoan Transformation because Chopper's here. Then we saw the God's Knights. Okay, I had much more than one space to fill in, and this wasn't even the one I was thinking about. Then silhouetted character because of rocks. Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, never mind. Apparently we do get a big go. I was not expecting that at all. And we had a flashback. Wow. This, I mentioned, oh, we're just continuing the arc because of the chapter title. No, apparently we're getting a bit of literally everything. This is insane. I think the biggest thing for me so far is the Loki and Rox reveal, because getting any new info on Rox is kind of huge, but also this progress we're making with the arc, like with some of the Mumas getting taken out, developing some of the characters more, seeing the Straw Hats do things is just so nice, because like I've said, post-time skip, especially in recent arcs, it feels like so often the Straw Hats just do not do anything. So it's nice to see them do things. That was so cool, Jinbei. So freaking cool. Good one, Jinbei. It was nothing. The guys at the school may hate me, but I still consider them my friends. It'll be okay, Cologne. We'll save them all. Yeah. So, not all the children were in school. And Gunko is traveled up to the ship with the Cologne pirates. This one sure seems lively. Huh? Who's that? Finally, a direct confrontation. Okay, so these four plus Cologne are the first to face off with one of the God's Knights. So we have these four with Gunko. Down below, we've got Chopper and Robin. So it would be cool. I want to see Robin get a lot of time and stuff. So I think... Chopper and Robin dealing with like maybe summers or something would be neat. And then I guess where does that put the monster trio? Maybe the monster trio, and then Frankie's doing his own thing. But I think that's kind of fine for Frankie here. He's kind of doing his own thing at the moment. But maybe monster trio dealing with, I don't know, it feels kind of weird to say that they would, if anything, maybe it would be like Chopper and Robin versus, Kiringam, and then Sanji and Zoro maybe have to team up again. We saw a little teamwork here. Maybe they have to team up again against Summers, and that leaves Luffy either... Because I struggle to think who Luffy really fights this arc or anything. Like, it seemed like if anything, he would have some sort of face-off with Shamrock, but then Shamrock left. So I don't really see what Luffy's doing here. Again, unless he still has to fight Loki, but I feel like we're going deeper with Loki's character. But maybe maybe Loki still wants to destroy the world, and Luffy has to win him over by fighting and defeating him even. And we see that Loki, I feel like he wouldn't be able to fit on the Sunny. I was going to say maybe he does become an ally or something. I guess I can't really see new Straw Hats particularly being added like that at this stage. It feels like if we were going to add new Straw Hats, we would have done it at the end of Wano with again, if Carrot, the ball hadn't been dropped so hard at Wano, or if even I still think that, you know, Yamato was never properly built up that way, but I feel like we would have done something with some of these characters. I feel like if we were going to add new Straw Hats. So at this point, probably not, sadly. I think that's another one of the big drop balls in the post-time skip, that only Jinbei was added, where Jinbei, honestly, even though I really like him, has not been the strongest character. So it's like, why are we adding... It's like, either don't add any new characters, or just add like one every arc or two, like we did in the pre-time skip, is what I think would have been best. So we ended up just adding one, and it's like, okay, if you're gonna add one, you should have added others. It definitely feels like a lot of that fun spirit in the pre-time skip has been gone because of that. Whereas I think if the crew had grown a bit more, then that could have been exciting. Especially, again, with Carrot, who was one of the ones with Nami to get this info about Elbaf, was excited about the land of the giants and everything, fit perfectly in as the freaking, what is it, the lookout. That was built up well with, you know, hinting at it with Pedro before, and then all of that was just dropped in Wano for no reason. And I don't know, other arcs too, it feels like there were characters that could have been built properly. We introduced we're doing some stuff with Hyrule now, but we introduced the Grand Fleet, and we haven't really done much of anything with them. It feels like we maybe should have spent more time developing those characters. Like, we're getting something with Hyrule here, so maybe we still will, depending on how long Oda's planning to go with One Piece. But I do feel like a lot of these, and we do have a break next week, I feel like a lot of these big picture aspects have been kind of, and even like the small aspects, it's one of those things where I don't mean to be too negative, but it's like I think about how perfectly done pre-time skip One Piece was, with, you know, adding new members, with the world building and everything. And it feels like while there are amazing bits of world building and amazing bits of character work in the post-time skip, it just feels like the post-time skip quality is like 7 out of 10 usually, which is like, it's usually good, at least. It's at least good, but that compared to like 11 or 12 out of 10 scale-breaking pre-time skip One Piece, it's not that post-time skip One Piece is bad. Aside from Wano, I would say Wano is just bad. I'd say Wano is really poorly written. But it's not like post-time skip One Piece is bad. It's just that it's nowhere near as good as pre-time skip One Piece. And you get that, I've said a bunch, you get that like as soon as we start the post-time skip. Like as soon as we get to Fishman Island's like immediately, as much as I love some of the character work with Nami and Jinbei, some of the flashbacks, I think Hody Jones, his like sort of backstory, so to speak, is incredibly well done, in my opinion, because it's not some big thing. So let me just say, what I love about Hody Jones is that he's somebody that is like, wow, the humans are horrible, to the point where he goes against his own people. He goes against the fishmen, and so many fishmen have faced racism, they faced slavery, they faced so many horrible things, mistreatment for humans, and yet this guy is like, yeah, I'm standing up for the fishman, I hate the humans so much. But he's doing that so much that he's like, I will kill other fishmen, I will kill my own people for sympathizing with humans because they are race traitors to me. And then we get to the point where Luffy's fighting him, and it's like, what'd the humans do to this guy? Why is this guy like so against the humans that he's even willing to go against his own people? And we find out The humans didn't do anything to him. He's just heard people being racist his whole life and has decided to make that his whole thing. And I think it tells a really good story, like with Luffy and Jinbei sort of breaking these barriers, and it makes what the queen was trying to do even more powerful, and it makes the hard things that so many fishmen have been through so much more powerful, to show that this guy, and the theme is that just like good can be passed on from generation to generation and inherited will and all that, you can have these people who, if all they ever hear is like people being racist towards humans, even though the humans didn't do anything to him directly, he is so against them that he's even willing to like kill his own fishmen. Like, he's the biggest sort of example of somebody being influenced by the words of the adults around them and becoming an extremist out of that, and then also being a hypocrite to his own cause. Like, it's really well written in that sense. But yeah, like, though there are some really good bits of writing in Fishman Island is still a like pretty instant downgrade from the pre-time skip. And then, though I don't mind Punk Hazard, I kind of like Punk Hazard personally, it is still not touching pre-time skip stuff. Dressrosa, again, I think the writing in Dressrosa is really good. The problem is, though the writing's really good, the pacing's abysmal. Even in the manga, the pacing is just awful in Dressrosa. Then Zoe was great, but it could have been more, but it still was great. I don't want to talk down Zoe too much. Same thing with Whole Cake. Whole Cake had these like moments that were really, really good and stuff, and I think overall I like Whole Cake, but it's just one of those things where you look at it and it's like, oh man, it could have been so much more. Wano is just absolutely terrible. Like, Wano is extremely long and not very good for how long it is. Like, we could have gotten what we got in like 1/3 the time, and I'd probably be a bit less harsh on it. It's the fact that it's so poorly written, but also we spend so much time on something so poorly written. Like, if you have an arc that's not that great, but it's only like a kind of short time, like, here's the thing. I don't think that some of the pre-time skip arcs, like, I like Little Garden, or I like Syrup Village. People complain about Syrup Village, but Syrup Village is actually really good. But the thing is, even if you're not that huge a fan of them, they're only maybe like a dozen chapters or something, probably less than that. They're just, even if you're like, they're mid or whatever, they're not that long. But then Wano's bad stuff is that, you know, there's a lot of awful moments and awful writing decisions, but then also those awful moments and writing decisions are just dragged out to an extreme degree. And I would say the pacing most of the time is even worse than the pacing in Dressrosa, but it doesn't have the good writing that Dressrosa had going for it. Then we finally bring things back. There's still some bad moments in Egghead and some aspects that aren't great, but Egghead, like, to me, completely turns things around and is good again. Is it pre-time skip One Piece good? I think that's going a bit far, because even if things are like so much better than post-time skip has been, that still doesn't bring it to pre-time skip level. That still doesn't fix so many of the bad writing habits in modern One Piece. And moving into Elbaf, it's kind of the same, where I think Elbaf so far has been even better than Egghead was. And Egghead was pretty great. So again, I think Elbaf's a really, really, really good arc so far. And a lot of these complaints and issues and things I've been bringing up here are just things that have built up over the course of the post-time skip. They're not Elbaf specific problems. They are post-time skip One Piece in general problems. And I say that sometimes with other series too, where I'll read a chapter and I'm like, the chapter was fine, but any of the problems aren't problems with the chapter specifically, they're problems with the series overall. So yeah, I think amazing chapter. Like, I'm saying all this negative stuff on an amazing chapter just because it's made me think about like how much more I would be invested in One Piece. Like, I love One Piece, I love Elbaf, this chapter was amazing, but I feel like, and I heard a lot of other people saying it too, like near or at the end of Wano, where for them, for a long time, One Piece was this untouchable story, but then you get to the point where you're like, okay, no, One Piece isn't this untouchable story. It has its negatives, it has its downsides, and the sort of, hype of what it is kind of wears off and you see the cracks in the foundation. So it's one of those things where I'm loving this, but I would be even more invested if we didn't have those cracks in the foundation. I'd be even more invested if the post time skip leading up to this had been good leading up to this. But it ranged from like all right, pretty good here and there, to outright bad, and then post time skip has just now really been getting great. But either way, did a little bit of a discussion because we're going to be having a little bit of a wait. We don't have any chapter next week. I don't think there's anything more. I managed to get a bingo somehow. That's a pretty rare one for me. But I don't think that there were any more here for me. Maybe you all got something, but that's all I had. Yeah, I think if anything, the only new Straw Hats we may end up getting at any point is maybe Vivi rejoins with them. But I don't know. I've never liked the Vivi rejoining the Straw Hats thing. Like, eventually she'd come back, Final War and everything, as an ally. But being like a main Straw Hat, I've never liked the idea of. Because if we're saying, as much as I love Vivi, if we're saying that she is like main Straw Hat material, then Yusaku and Johnny are, if she is. Do we want them to come back and be Straw Hats? Then it's like Momonosuke and Kinemon for sure. Luffy even invited them. So again, it's one of those issues where, to me, as much as I love Vivi, I have never liked the idea of her rejoining and stuff. But, it is what it is. If One Piece had done a better job of building that, then maybe I'd be more into it. I just feel like, as much as I love this arc in this chapter, any love I have for One Piece just keeps getting weighed down by all the stuff I had to sit through for years. And like the Wano PTSD, I had to suffer through years and years of Wano, and even before that, years and years of kind of mid post time skip stuff. And that kind of, tempers my hype with a bit of the low points of One Piece that I've suffered through. But either way, thank you for watching. Like if you did like the video, comment down there too. Tell me what you thought of this week's chapter, my thoughts and reaction and all that. Subscribe for more One Piece, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. If you're willing to the Discord server, it's free and open for anyone. Share the video around if you want to. If you want to help support the channel by dropping a super thanks, it's appreciated. But if you want to help support and also get your name get your name at the end of videos and get these One Piece videos a little bit early, then you can hit join down below to become a member. Go to patreon.com/Haku of the Tubes, or a link will be in the description to become a patron. Thank you to people who are already patrons and channel members: to chosen regulars Evan Hawley and Bertie Wooster, Magical Girls, Efranono, J.A. and The D-Ban, Jerriton Students, David Langstaff and Folded Ghoul, Slayer Candidates, S.G. and Stan Cedar, and Pure Elements, Pate Ardial, and also the Storyteller. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.